The views expressed in this podcast, Champ and Tramp, belong to the host and guest, not the Champ and Tramp podcast itself. It's intended for entertainment information, so please use discretion. We're not responsible for any outcomes resulting from the content discussed.
I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors over at MuscleMeds. We've been taking their products for years now, and I can honestly say these guys deliver.
Yes, specifically carnivore and steptropin for me. The carnivore line really takes the bloating and stomach discomfort away, which is huge for me, especially when I'm training on the mat. And steptropin to speed up recovery for years of battling in the ring. I can honestly say I feel at my best again.
Yeah, man, I take their Nitro lift before every workout, and it's got me stronger than ever. But of course, you know I got to crush a carnivore RTD after. Hands down, the best protein on the market.
Roger that. These products actually work. If any of you guys are looking for a brand you can trust, look, you got to check out MuscleMeds.
Real show, here we go. Real show, here we go. You know that it's gotta be that time, so this is what we chant. What keeps on getting them all amped in advance? Come on. You and I rocking out with Iron Man, FE. You get the general's point of view on top of Roger's rants. Whenever tapping out, we're putting the most minutes in. You already know what that's about, you know that winners win. Crush whatever's on task, check the podcast. It's the Champ and the Tramp, let the bomb blast.
All right, guys, we have a good episode. My man, Dylan Wanagiel. Now, Dylan, how long have we known each other? When did we start trying? When you were with MSG, we were trying to get MMA legalized. That was like 2011, maybe?
Yeah, we first met, and clearly not long enough for me to teach you how to pronounce Wanagiel, which is a very rough name, which is a very rough name. It's of Polish descent. But the first time we met was actually 2007. We did, as you touched on, it was the early days of
I remember this,
trying to get MMA
UFC
legalized.
100, right?
Yeah, UFC 79.
79.
There was a viewing party.
At
Chuck
Liddell versus
Vanderlei Silva.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a great. Great
so
night.
over 15 years.
Yeah.
Wow. That's how long it took to get commissioned?
No.
About 9, actually. Yeah.
I think 2016.
Who was that?
New York, correct.
Alvarez and McGregor was the first?
UFC
right?
205. Yeah. So it's been a long time. I'm now with Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment, which is Prudential Center, New Jersey Devils, also the Philadelphia 76ers, Washington Commanders, Joe Gibbs Racing, Crystal Palace FC. All of those entities are all part of this Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment umbrella. But, we go back to MSG days and talk college wrestling, Grapple at the Garden, which you wrestled in. And then I did Garden State Grapple here at Prudential Center a couple times with and you introduced me to Coach Scott Goodale at Rutgers, who's a real visionary for the sport.
He is, man.
Great guy, and done a lot of events with Rutgers wrestling over the years. But,
Rutgers had, again, number 5 attendance.
I saw that. Incredible.
And that's just a testament. I mean, I know we're kind of talking about the Final X here coming up Saturday. And, Jersey's a home. It's definitely a hotbed.
No doubt,
for wrestling. So I think it's an awesome time for it to be in Newark,
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have them back. Final X was in Newark in 2023. And yes, I'm rocking my Cael Sanderson.
There you go.
Wrestling shoes.
Oh, hell yeah.
When I met Jordan Burroughs, he came to Garden State Grapple. He loved that I was in a full suit, but with wrestling shoes. But of course, he said, you got to get some JVs, man. Yeah.
Can you put a call in for Champ the Tramp podcast and have him come on? Because this guy won't. Every time I try to get him to get Jordan Burroughs on, he won't make the call. So
absolutely.
Right,
and JB is coming in person to Final X this Saturday in Newark. So I think you're busy, Frankie. Maybe.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm doing something cool. I'm going down to Washington D.C. It's the 250-year anniversary, I think, of the Army.
Yeah.
So they're doing like a fitness challenge, like ex-UFC, ex-NFL versus some veterans or even active special force guys. Fitness stuff, not combat stuff. That'd be even more fun. But
awesome.
Some fitness stuff. So
how do you think you do against like Tim Kennedy? You think you do
like
all right?
In what?
Anything. In the baton thing they do. They beat the shit out of it.
He's a big boy.
He's a big guy.
I'll do it.
Yeah?
I'll do it with him.
But yeah, no, very, very cool. Sorry we won't see you, Roger. More than welcome to come come out to Newark if you can make it on Saturday. It's gonna be a long day of wrestling.
Wait, Sunday's our canoe, our Father's Day canoe thing.
Saturday.
Is it Saturday? So you're not gonna make it?
No.
All right.
All right, well, you let me know. Final X USA Wrestling World Team Trials. You know, how many people on planet Earth ever get to wear USA across their chest?
It's
very
amazing.
cool.
You know,
Absolutely.
So the people who win, men and women, in freestyle, will go to Zagreb, Croatia, in September for the World
right?
Championships. Yeah. So yeah, like runs 12:30 to about 8 o'clock at night. So it's a lot of wrestling. There's a little break in between. You know, Kyle Dake's in it, Helen Maroulis, a lot of big names.
Spencer Fisher.
Spencer Lee.
Spencer Lee.
You fought Spencer Fisher. Yes.
You might have fought that guy though.
I thought at Prudential Center. At Prudential Center.
78. Yeah.
I was there for that fight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I won money at that fight against Tim Sylvia.
Did you?
Yeah, he bet on.
Yeah, he was his boy.
Spencer's his boy. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
funny.
Yep.
Well, hey, I brought you guys some gifts here, so let's
awesome.
let's open
Let's
them up
do it.
here.
Cool,
You
cool.
can't
Let's
come
do it.
empty-handed.
Let's
So
go.
I got some gifts, some show and tell items.
Okay.
Never-
Jersey, baby.
Yeah,
That's
so
it.
yeah,
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm a lifelong New Jersey resident, so we
That's
got
right.
some
I know.
hats, we
Well,
got some sweatshirts.
Roger's an honorary Jersey
honorary.
guy.
It's good.
All right.
Yeah.
I've been here a
All
long
right,
time.
so there's that's the
Look at
past
that,
2
baby.
years of
Sweet.
commemorative cups. Yeah, so
Very cool.
something we do for UFC, like there worked a couple different commemorative cups the past 2 years there. And something we do like for
Those right down here.
yeah, absolutely.
Jersey, baby.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Love it.
Sweet. I love it. Hell yeah.
So those are cool. If you look at the back there, Roger, if you want to
Yeah.
hold that up for 1 sec. And
Oh.
yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah,
UFC
there you go.
Back again where UFC modern era began.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Which is true.
Because the unified rules started in New Jersey. You know
Correct.
that, Roger?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really? Is that
Yep.
right?
So you
Unified rules.
you know
When-
Nick Lembo.
Yeah,
and-
Lembo
and
was pretty much the guy.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It really does date back to that
Yeah.
long. And well, then we'll pivot to our show and tell
awesome.
items here.
All right, let's
So,
go.
Thought we were playing Pictionary.
I know. One of the things, in our business, running an arena, the reality is there's more arenas than there are like true arena-worthy events, true like big marquee events. So it's very much a relationship business. Almost any business is really a relationship business,
Right.
but it's really true in our business because, from one arena to the next, they are fairly similar. So it's more about developing relationships, having
absolutely.
people become comfortable with you. So we're always trying to do something cool, gifting. So one thing we did, we created last year. If you want to take a look.
That's awesome.
Yeah, take a look at that. But what that shows is the really cool history of UFC in New Jersey.
bro.
And
2000.
Yeah, it goes all the way back to 2000. So in the post-event press conference for UFC 302 at
That's right.
Prudential
Trump
Center,
was a big part of that. Yeah.
he sure was.
Yeah.
And so Dana was really excited, and in the post-event press conference last year, he talked about, you show it to the camera, and he really went through for the media like how this first event here, UFC 28, was when he and the Fertitta brothers were
First bought it, right?
They were first considering buying
considering.
it. Yeah, they saw it, and he's been on record as like they're in the audience that night going, well, wow, if we bought this and we changed this and we changed that and we did this and we did that, like this could be something big. And then those next two events are down in Atlantic City, Trump Taj Mahal, and where their relationship.
Edgar made it.
There you go.
Made the board.
Couple times, buddy.
Where's the other spot? Where's the other spot?
UFC 78.
Yeah.
78.
So that Frankie fought on, against Spencer Fisher, aforementioned.
Right.
But so what Dana talked about was, back in those days, the sport was only legal in less than 10 states at the time,
Right.
and even from a venue perspective, not a lot of venues really wanted it. But Dana credits the Donald Trump with giving them a chance in those dark days where they were off of pay-per-view, and I guess that's how their relationship started, and naturally
so he
that's
had his
blossomed
back
to
from
today.
day one.
Yeah.
Really, he doesn't miss many now.
Yeah,
Correct.
Most of them.
Yeah,
he was
no.
there. He was there this past one
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I have to say that the Secret Service did an incredible job.
Yeah,
Amazing job.
They get.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like I don't know. I was there earlier in the week, and I felt like I seen Secret Service people hanging out
Yes,
around it.
yes.
Like not even. They were in like Morristown.
You know where they weren't? Butler, Pennsylvania. They weren't there.
Changes have been made clearly, so it's a learning business for all of us. But that was really great. to have the president,
Yeah,
sitting
that's gotta be
president
cool.
at
Yeah.
the venue. and
Stressful
really
though.
raising-
Got to be a little stressful.
Yeah, I think for everyone, it's just the amount of meetings and preparation to make sure everything goes perfectly is ramped up, and it's great. There's just more eyeballs.
Can you talk about any of it or no?
Not really. I'll say this much: that like the UFC security team is top notch, best in the world, and thankfully for them, as you pointed out, the president has been at many UFC events
Right,
now,
yeah.
so they've had a lot of practice with Secret Service, and
Right.
then our own security team collaborating with UFC security and Secret Service, and it really went well.
Can you just say if there's snipers in the building? Maybe.
No comments. So thankfully everything went very
Yeah.
smoothly,
That's
and when we've seen it all a lot of times now. But when Dana and the president walk out and
it's-
everyone's
the crowd
chanting
was
USA,
It's
USA,
awesome.
it's
I mean, I tell you,
pretty
even
amazing.
Sugar Sean's entrance
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Although Marab's such a fan favorite, and
Yeah.
all these guys train in America. They do train in America.
And
you know?
Marab is very vocal with his love of America, even though
He
he's
is.
got the
Yeah,
Georgia
he does. He
tattoo, and
represents
loves-
Georgia, but he does love
but
America.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I was surprised that Marab, catching some boos. I think it's more of like a pro O'Malley thing,
that's what
right?
it
Like
was. I mean, they didn't
fans
boo
love-
him afterwards.
Right.
I think
Oh,
they
no,
supported him.
How could you?
He's just like such
Likable guy.
He is
right.
so likable.
He's like the
He really
nicest
is.
guy ever.
Him and San Diego's probably next, right? They had a very, like cordial.
Sandy is just like, look, Sandy's a good dude too. I get along with him. I hung out with him at some of the events we did this week, and he's just quiet. I think
Reserved.
Marab is just kind of silly. He's silly. You ever see the video where he goes to
Dives
jump
into
into
the lake?
the lake and it's frozen at first?
Smashes his face.
Yeah, he's an animal.
Yeah, that's a good point. You went to the Boys and Girls Club for the second year in a row,
Yeah,
right?
I think the
third
third
even.
year.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
third year,
So
yeah.
how would it go?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Those kids are always very appreciative, so it's gives you perspective.
Yeah. That's great.
It's cool. Those kids are always happy to see us, and it's good to give back.
I think that's the great thing about UFC. Like, yes, there's this tremendous economic impact it brings to the state of New Jersey, but there's all these ancillary events, a lot of community events that
Right.
the UFC does in every city they go to,
Yeah,
which
and
means
even
a lot.
like we were just talking about Molly. Molly
McCann's
McCann's coming. She's coming down and doing an appearance here in Tom's River. So you get even get the residual of that stuff too.
Absolutely, it's amazing from where the sport began, to now.
It really is. Who was the senator that tried so hard to shut it down?
Well, John McCain is famous for the
tried,
human cockfighting
yes.
comments, but even towards the end, he eventually
he
turned around
relented
a little
on the
bit,
topic.
Well, everybody has to,
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked back. This is actually the first UFC one I ever went to. Heavy hitters. That was in Atlantic City, right? Was that one?
Is that 55 maybe or something?
55? Yes.
Like that? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first one I went to, and Matt Serra fought on that card, I believe. And I think I was still in college at the time. I was like, I gotta try this. I gotta try this. Yeah.
How early was that? What year was that?
No, I think it was 2005. So
2005,
it was
wow.
probably after the Ultimate Fighter. So I was, that's when I started really wanting to do it. The Ultimate Fighter was out my senior year of college,
Right.
And I seen a bunch of like Josh Koscheck.
Yeah,
he wrestled at Edinburgh. I was at
Right.
Clarion, so I was
Yep.
like, I'm like, this guy's doing it. I gotta try this. I didn't even think I could fight for a living. I just wanted to fight somebody.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. I remember one article I read a long time ago, and I think they were quoting Renee actually as like, the first time I saw Frankie fight, he was fighting a guy wearing jeans or something like that, right? In one of those underground things?
Yeah, I wasn't. Someone in the crowd.
Oh, okay.
Someone fought in jeans because one guy didn't show up,
Okay.
so they just got someone from the crowd, and he's wearing jean shorts. He went in there and fought. This was in 2005. I was training for like 2 weeks.
Right.
And I jumped in. I ended up being the main event. There was no weigh-in. There was no time limit. It was just 15 minutes, go. No rules. I headbutt the guy.
Yeah. The New York Underground scene.
Underground.
At the time.
Yep, exactly. New York
Yep.
Underground. I broke my face in it, and I made $160. So, yeah. It was all worth it.
Let's all this, man.
Yeah.
No, I mean.
No, it's been great. I have no regrets. No regrets.
No, I mean, look, thank you for having me on, but honestly,
of course.
you're an inspiration to so many people. So
Just a couple questions. Just a couple.
let's do it, man.
So, like, what was been the most stressful event for you? Like, what either MSG or
that's an interesting one. You get experience enough, you learn how to deal with the stress. I would say like. The question I get the most often is like biggest event.
Biggest, yeah.
And for me, and this is maybe
I would say that'd be the most stressful,
yeah,
right?
yeah, probably, it's true. The most details, and maybe this is a little bit of a cop out, and you'll see where I'm going here. I guess if I want to mention two, but I guess I'll pick one. But like so you have UFC 205 right behind you there, right?
was huge.
So
Yep.
that was, as we talked about, like a 9-year culmination of trying to get mixed martial arts legalized in New York. And the crazy thing is, so finally happens where there was a signing of the bill at the Garden that it finally became legal. That was like in March, and then the Conor Eddie fight was in November.
Right.
But we were about to go on sale with. It was not Conor and Eddie as the main event initially.
Oh, I know.
Initially,
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah.
And then let's call it 12 hours or something before we're going on sale. Like Dana got the deal done with Conor and Eddie, and at that point, like we had to change all the ticket prices. Okay, and myself, and shout out to Tom Samperi, former MSG box office guy. We worked all night, like slept on the floor in my office. As did he, to like literally change every seat in the arena to like get the ticket scaling just correct.
Wow.
And it turned out to be, to this day, the highest grossing event in Madison Square
I'll
Garden
tell you
history.
this: if Eddie Alvarez knew this, he might have held out for more.
I hope I'm not blowing any secrets there, but it's kind of obvious. You get Conor and Eddie involved.
See, I didn't-
Things are going to go up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Who was? Can you say who the fight was supposed to be?
No, I don't remember.
So
It might have been
who
who was on the
who was the
card.
co-main that night?
Wonder Boy and
Tyron Woodley. Yeah.
Oh, so they kept him on the card. They were just going to be. I got it. Okay.
There
okay,
you go.
yeah.
But I
Still
will,
great. I mean, it was a great card.
Great card.
Was that a draw for them? They had
Yes.
a draw, right?
Habib fought on it also.
Yes, on the undercard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Me and Jeremy Stevens were on it.
Yep.
Yeah, that-
Caitlin Chukagian was
Yep.
on it.
Yeah.
Who did she fight? Was that Valentina? No.
No, she won too.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk, baby? Is that who she fought?
No. I don't think she ever fought you on.
No, okay.
I don't remember who she fought.
But great event, great night, over $18 million in ticket sales. But I guess I would have to say that it really edged out, and for me, which was still to this day so important to me, 2016 NCAA Wrestling Championships, Division
the
I.
Garden. Yeah, that was amazing.
Amazing. So,
Yeah.
but to backtrack, so when I was at the Garden for 11 years, 93 through 04, left for 2 years to go work in the trade show industry. And then I got a call. They wanted me to come back. And this time, my first tour was in special events. They want me to come back and work in sports properties. And I was like, all right, cool. And it's like, hey, try and find some new business for us, And I was like, well, this UFC is blowing up here. Oh, it's not legal. Okay. So, but I started looking into college wrestling. And this is around the time we met. And I was chatting to you about your Division I wrestling career. And I was like, yeah, I would like to do something maybe with Rutgers. And you were coaching there at the time. And this is the way you work like me, move fast. You said, I'm going to have Coach Goodale call you. Like an hour later, Goodale's on my phone. And we start talking about, and first we started talking about just doing like a regular, like just one match. Rutgers wasn't in the Big Ten at the time. He wanted to do Rutgers versus a Big Ten team. Cool, let's do that. But then I go to 2011 D1 Nationals. Okay, you ever been, Roger?
No.
Oh, you have.
I grew up in a little tiny town in Maine. We didn't have wrestling.
All right. Well, let me tell you something. As someone who knew of wrestling, certainly knew of Dan Gable, knew of Cale Sanderson, but had never been to a D1 wrestling match. I went to Nationals in Philly in 2011.
Okay, yeah.
I went on, I want to say the Thursday night session, and you walk in, and it's 8 mats going simultaneously, and there's 18,000 plus there, screaming their heads off because everyone competing has been wrestling since they're 3 years old, 4 years old. And this is their Super Bowl, and this is it, man. And the pressure, and you talked about the blood round a lot, and the pressure of that round in particular. And so I was just blown away as someone who really grew up as a sports addict, but didn't know a ton about college wrestling. I was like, I want to do this, not as a competitor, but in my business, like how do I get this at the time to the Garden? And it's funny. I'll share a little story with you. I'm like, I went back. So this is, I went like the Thursday and Friday night. I go in on Monday morning. We're having our regular Monday morning meeting. I was at the Garden 25 years. I have nothing bad to say. Great employees and coworkers. But this particular meeting, I was like, guys, this was the greatest event ever. I'm going to do everything possible to try and help us get this. And two of my coworkers looked me dead in the eyes and like, you'll never get it. Okay? But like, yes. And these are generally supportive people. But at the time, the NCAA had not done any events at the Garden, including East Regional Basketball, which now they're in the regular rotation. But at that time, in 2011, it had been a lot, like decades. Okay? But But like yourself, I'm sure like yourself, Roger, like the best way to like motivate someone, like
Tell
tell
them
me
no.
I can't do
Yeah,
it.
right.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right,
Yeah.
well,
I'm gonna get it done.
I'm going to try, and sure enough, you start making calls and emails and, everything and made progress. And sure enough, got it in 2016.
I'll tell you, that was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorites. I've been at many national tournaments.
Right,
That
right.
was probably one of my favorites. That was awesome.
Yeah, to this day, a lot of people still talk about that. So now my goal, having gone to Philly this year, and just kind of, it's still just such an amazing event. And so I'm desperately trying to get it to Newark, New Jersey,
that'd be sick,
in the next bid cycle. So whenever that starts up, which probably fairly soon, it'll probably run 29 through 32. Hopefully get it in one of those years, and if not, the cycle after that. But
There you go.
I've told myself I cannot retire until I get that event,
right,
D1 Wrestling
I like it.
Nationals.
I'm sure you'll get it done.
Yeah,
I'm sure you'll get it
so,
done.
Thank you.
Why back up a little bit?
Yeah,
Why was it so hard to get the UFC commissioned in New York? What was the difficulty there?
It's a great question. I mean,
Wow.
probably the best.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
you could probably say more about this than I can, given that
Well, I
am
mean, the
here to
rumors
yes,
are at
uh-huh.
least the unions control everything in New York, right? Unions control a lot in New York.
Jersey too, but yeah.
And in Vegas, the Fertittas supposedly were not hiring union people for their casinos, so they were holding it against them. That's kind of the rumor.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a public story.
Yeah,
The station casinos were, I guess, apparently the
Yeah.
only non-union.
Non-union.
casino out
They were
there.
paying, but they were still paying,
Oh, of
paying
course.
prevailing
Apparently,
wage.
it was a great place to work.
Yeah.
It just wasn't union.
Makes sense, I guess.
So, it's a legislative process. You need
I
proper
forget the
votes.
one guy's name. It was one guy that was holding us up.
Sheldon Silver.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I won't forget that name anytime soon. But it's Mark Ratner, who I'm sure you know very well. Great guy, one of the greatest in the industry. Like, he had probably the greatest quote of all time. So it was like you had to get through the Senate and the Assembly, and for many years it would pass through the Senate, but the Assembly, which Sheldon Silver ran, like, you had to get through various stages, and the big key was like just getting to a vote. Hey, let's vote. If it gets passed, great. If it doesn't, okay, we lost. We try again next year. And what would happen is they wouldn't even get to the point of a vote. And Mark Ratner very famously said, to not vote is un-American. And that's what was UFC was, and Mark specifically, were so disappointed in, because they tried so hard for so long, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
But
I'll be honest. At one point, I almost didn't think it was
Right,
going to happen.
right,
I'm like,
right.
I don't think
Is there any other state where they battled to get in or no?
No, not even.
yeah, I mean, it was a
Well,
process.
in the beginning,
yeah.
But that was the last one. Though,
That was
right?
the
I
last
believe,
one.
yeah.
That was the last
How
one.
many,
Yeah.
Frank, you might know this, how many states has had a UFC event? I mean, Maine's had one. Bangor, Maine had a UFC event.
Yeah. No, I don't. I'm not sure. I don't know. A lot of them.
So
Gotta be over half, probably.
Jersey's up to 23 now,
Wow.
which is a pretty big number. Obviously, Nevada the most.
Yeah.
I believe, California and
Florida.
Texas, Florida. But we're like,
Maine had one.
yeah, we're
Because Dana's got a place in Bangor. so.
certainly top 5, for Jersey. So it's a great history of the sport here.
Yeah,
that's something,
no, it is.
that's
I mean,
something that we try and
Jersey's
celebrate. Yeah.
They say Jersey's the Dagestan of the United States. You know.
Kind of is. Kind of is. Yeah.
Well, last year when I went down to Nick Catone's gym to see Islam's open workout,
Right,
and yeah.
Great gym.
Great gym.
A lot of square
Yeah,
footage
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Big
yeah.
place. Yeah.
And
Yeah, I was just there this morning, actually.
yeah, great guy. And,
Yeah.
Salt
Those guys
of
are,
the earth. And boy, watching Islam just get a workout in.
He's
Wow.
legit. Yeah, all his guys. He brings
Yeah.
his whole team with him.
Yeah,
They're animals.
And meeting Poirier was great. What a nice
he's
guy
such
too, man.
awesome-
Awesome guy. Awesome guy. And hey, he put up a great fight. Just
I mean,
yeah.
it's that no one's really fought him that tough.
Right,
you know?
exactly. What was crazy about that fight is, Islam did get the takedown, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds
Yeah,
into the first
yeah.
round, but Dustin, fought, survived the whole 5 minutes, and how the place erupted that he
Yeah.
didn't
Then
get
he gets
submitted
that,
in the
yeah.
first round and wound up going all the way to the 5th,
Yeah.
so that was really
I've
cool
known
to
Dustin
see.
for a while. I brought
I'm
Dustin out here to
going
to
to get
train.
it, buddy? I don't know if you can reach
Yeah,
that high.
you got it, buddy.
All right. I'll get it for you.
Yeah, I bought I like make the help do my work.
Hey, there you
know what I mean?
I'll let you talk the wrestling talk. I'll fix the studio.
No, but I brought Dustin out here back in 2012 to help me train for a fight. He came, stayed with me for like a week or two.
Amazing.
And then I even flew him to Colorado to finish my training camp.
Awesome.
When I was fighting Benson Henderson. So I've known Dustin for a long time, man.
Yeah, great guy.
Always
Yeah.
a stud. Always
Never
a good
heard
dude.
anybody with the exception of Connor say a bad word about
Right.
that.
Oh, well, it's Connor.
Yeah. And what's cool is he's getting to fight in New Orleans, right?
Yeah, he is
against
his
his
final fight,
retirement
yeah.
fight against Max
Against-
Holloway.
oh, man.
I know.
Two legends.
Two legends.
Tough fight. Tough fight to be your last fight too.
Yeah.
Knowing it's your last fight, knowing it's this guy
Was-
you beat
was-
twice.
Was the first guy to knock Max out Ilya? Has he ever been knocked out before?
Yeah, the only guy.
Only guy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so you don't have to say names, but have there been people that were tough to work with, and you know what I mean?
Oh,
And you only deal with sports, or you do it.
So right now I'm the vice president of sports properties and special events.
Oh, so you could do.
I do some
artists and stuff as well.
Not so much concerts,
Okay.
but special events is like we had Tony Robbins, the motivational
all right,
speaker,
yeah.
come in this
That's
year.
cool.
We have another event coming up on July 12th, Life Surge, which Tim Tebow and Michael Strahan are speaking at. It's more of a religious theme to it. We do a lot of movie, TV show, commercial shoots, things like that. So that's that side of it, kind of like a private
Comedians?
event. So my colleague, shout out to Tyler Bates, he does our concerts and comedy stuff.
Okay.
So that's a kind of different side of our business, which we're doing great. Prudential Center is annually a top 10 venue by Billboard and Polestar in the world, not just in the United States, in the world as far as like gross ticket sales go. So something we're very proud of. He's killing it on the and our boss Sean Seda is our chief programming officer, which is really interesting. So for us, we're programming not only Prudential Center, but as I mentioned earlier, our managing partners own the Washington Commanders. So what was cool for me is last summer I got to book two international soccer friendlies at the football stadium down in Landover, Maryland. So having spent my whole career booking arenas and theaters, to now do stadiums where you had 55,000 people for international soccer matches is really cool. One, we had USA versus Colombia, and then 6 days later we had Lionel Messi and Argentina
Doesn't get
against
bigger than that.
Guatemala.
Yeah.
Huge
That's
events.
cool.
So pretty cool that our department here in Jersey is branching out into that market as
Now,
well.
would the World Cup's coming soon, right?
Correct. Yeah. So we were in the mix down there for. So this summer is the Club World Cup. Then next summer is the big World Cup. So those are massive events. We're actually about to announce like a soccer summit event at Prudential Center, really talking about the business of soccer, technology of soccer, growth of women's soccer, things like that. So that'll be next month at Prudential Center. So it's an exciting time for New Jersey because they have the final. They have the World Cup final at MetLife Stadium, including a bunch of the what do you call them, like the group stage matches. So I think they have like 10 or 11 matches.
I wonder if
or
it's
something
just
like
going to
that.
be nuts here, like just the whole state.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
gonna be
Yeah.
flooded.
I mean, that World Cup
For sure.
is
Yeah.
another animal for sure.
Did you get to shake Tony Robbins' hand?
I
You
didn't.
say his hand is ginormous.
That's a big human.
Yeah.
That is a big human.
Yeah.
Big hands, big head.
head.
Yeah. But no, the first event I did with Tony Robbins was when I was at the Garden in like 97 maybe. He's still going.
Wow.
Yeah.
Packed, and he does the fire walk with the people walking on the
Really?
yeah in the outdoor parking lot across the street
Really?
from the Prudential
way.
Center.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
No way.
they're still doing that stuff.
Wow.
So
You know who did that at a party one time at the old house? Jesse, and he literally woke up the next day and the bottom of his feet were just completely melted. He did that.
Yeah, but he's not a professional fire walker.
No. Thought he was though.
Good for him. He was 4 days in a row, sold out, probably 14,000 people each day.
Wow.
So he's still very popular
Yeah.
and very positive messaging about,
Right.
and some of your podcasts are about finding motivation and things like that. You know, we all seek out, what's going to drive us today. You know?
Sure.
Yeah. So
It's a dog eat dog world. You got to find something to drive you to, these days. Yeah, for sure.
no doubt.
So, well, go ahead.
Sorry, but I was just going to say MSG, probably, maybe before your time, 25 years is a long time there, but biggest event ever at MSG, what would you guess it would be? I don't know. Ali Frazier?
Yeah.
Ali Frazier?
That was called the Fight of the Century.
Was their second fight, right?
March 8th, 1971, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right, 71.
And that's when you think about it, like Frank Sinatra is there, who you mentioned in your cold open the other night. He's there working as a ringside photographer for that.
Get
event.
out of
Yes.
here!
Yeah.
Just messing around.
I think so, but you know, he was.
I didn't
You
know
see
that.
any photo from
Wow.
that fight, you'll see old Blue Eyes there.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's,
That's cool.
a lot of history to that building.
You know, I remember
for
when we were doing the whole trying to get MSG legalized.
Yeah.
Didn't they just cut? Well, not, I mean, James, I'm aging myself, but they redid it recent, somewhat.
Yeah,
like that was like 2010.
It was called the
or-
Transformation, and if I'm remembering correctly, it finished up over the summer of 2012. So the venue was closed 3 consecutive summers, no events at all.
Right.
And they had union construction crews working around the clock. My brother-in-law was on that. Shout out, John Falconer. Way to go, buddy. Union electrician. But yeah, that was something that everyone there would admit the building really needed at the time.
Right.
So,
But is that true? Like I remember they were saying like it's built for combat sports. Is that right?
I mean, I would say it's a very fair statement.
Yeah.
Both the arena and theater downstairs are great for combat sports.
The amphitheater is actually
Yeah.
awesome. I've been to many events there.
What would be why would it be built for? How would it be built different?
There's
for-
no like bad seat in the
Yeah,
house
just
type thing.
just
Would that be
sightlines.
any event though, or no?
No,
No?
because
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Combat sport, everyone looking down on
Built
it,
like the
you know?
Coliseum, basically.
Kind of, yeah. I kind of
That's
think
a fair
yeah.
statement. Yeah. I'd like to think we're built for combat sports at Prudential Center as well.
Yes, sir.
But, and speaking of which,
Prudential Center is also new. I mean, when
2007.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
but it's something that we take a lot of pride in and constantly reinvesting in the room.
Sure.
In terms, our right now we have the world's largest high definition video scoreboard. So that big board up top. As far as NBA, NHL arenas go, that's the world's largest high definition video board. Something we're proud of. Yeah. A lot of investment in like high end premium spaces. Prudential Lounge is a high end restaurant. Pier Club, another high end restaurant. So we're constantly because honestly, in the arena business, it's one of the older buildings in the market. So really, kudos to our managing partners to constantly reinvesting in making sure the building is world class, and we're very proud of it. So
caught a couple Devils games there.
There you go. Exciting team. We had Dawson Mercer was out the other night, and some of the guys on the team were there.
So I was standing in line for one of the UFC fights, and Chuck Liddell and I were standing. Not Chuck, Zito and I were standing.
Yeah.
We were standing in line together. It was kind of cool to see him. This is the first time I actually met him in person, but.
We had Chuck Zito on the pod before.
Awesome.
Good
dude.
Yeah.
He doesn't miss many UFC shows.
So he's a legend.
Sure. Yeah.
He's usually up on the stage for the weigh-ins now too, which is
Correct.
crazy.
But back to being built for combat sports, I will say, three weekends in a row, UFC 316, Final X, and then a Saturday after that we have Top Rank Boxing with a kid from New Jersey, Vito Milnicki Jr.
Nice.
From Roseland.
I know a couple people that know him.
Great young man, and I really think he's going to be a superstar in boxing, and we're excited to have him back.
You got to get him on the show, Frankie.
Absolutely. That's a must.
I follow him on the ground.
That's a must. Actually, that reminds me. You guys recently mentioned, or maybe I was watching an older podcast, the kid Nicky Cass.
He's hysterical.
He is
We met him
hysterical.
through Frazier.
So
we went to Butcher's Block with him, and I'm like, who's this young kid that's sitting at the table? And he was a riot. So, we had him on.
I think he's hysterical. I need his contact info.
Absolutely.
I'm not asking for a freebie. I want to do something with him to promote Vito's fight because I think
he's
the
good,
characters
bro.
he does.
He's great.
He's
man.
such a young kid, and
genius.
he's just got a knack at what he does. His
Yeah.
delivery is spot on every time.
For sure. Very, very talented.
Does the dad, does the coach, does the restaurant owner.
the neighbor.
We met him through Frazier. Frazier's like, I'm bringing my buddy along, and this young
we
kid.
had a strong
showed up.
arm on him to get him on the pod, but we did.
a little bit.
It's great.
One more question.
Yeah.
Okay, about final. Is it 2 mats? It's gonna be 2 mats.
Yeah, 2
out
mats
there?
going. What's very cool, the growth of women's sports. So the women's freestyle and the men's freestyle are right next to each other. USA Wrestling is actually raising the mats this year, putting them up on a 2-foot stage, kind of add a little gravitas to the event. So I know it's cool for wrestling. And we'll be going 7+ hours of wrestling, so you'll get your money's worth. I think you get in the door for like $60, and it's a big fundraiser for Beat the Streets. This is the 15th year of the Beat the Streets Gala, our annual fundraiser, and the others at the post event function. But and you might be familiar. You must have seen it. Like they did Times Square for many years.
Yep.
The first
I'm
one was
not
on
there. I've been
Intrepid.
plenty of times. Yeah.
I'm not familiar. Beat the Streets.
Beat the Streets is it's a nonprofit or something, nonprofit organization where they get kids wrestling, like inner city kids wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's very cool. Yeah, like their mission literally is to get wrestling mats into schools that's never had
Like
them.
in Brooklyn and Bronx, all that
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
I mean, beat the streets. Like,
Yeah.
don't be out on the streets.
Right.
Come in and
That's-
learn how to
yeah,
wrestle.
learn to wrestle,
And it's
yeah.
elementary schools and high schools, and they're funding mats and coaches, and it's really great.
I mean,
charity.
it's kind of there isn't a lot of overhead in wrestling, is there? It's not like football. There's a lot of equipment in football.
No, there's not as much for sure, but mats are expensive. And
mats-
space. Mats and space are expensive, you know.
Yeah, renting space and,
Yeah.
and hiring coaches and,
Right.
and people. But it's, you probably have just great stories. And honestly, like one of our managing partners, Josh Harris, he came to Final X 2 years ago, and he's on record many times, as well as many businessmen like himself that attribute their success in business to their time in wrestling.
Yeah,
and
100%.
everything the dedication and the hard work that they learned as a wrestler, where there's no days off and there's no shortcuts really, and bringing that mindset to the business world has
for sure
led them to success, and a lot of them give back. Which is great.
because they know how much it helped them.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? I mean, Dan Gable said, "Once you wrestle, everything in life is easy."
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And it is. It really is.
No doubt.
Well, Dylan, thank you for coming on, man. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Good luck for Saturday. I wish I could be there, man. This kind of stinks. I mean, I'm excited to go do what I got to do, but being in Jersey, I'm definitely going to be there. If not, I'm sure my kids will end up there.
Yeah. No, please let me know what you need.
A lot of our people are going to want to head up to this event for sure.
We're gonna do one more show and tell here.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
So we did the history, and I need you to autograph this one.
Wow. Oh, this is cool.
Roger over there.
Yes, I got you.
So what this is, and show into the camera. So the first piece that I showed you was the history of UFC in the state of New Jersey, dating back to 2000. This is the history here
This is cool.
of UFC, specifically in Newark at Prudential Center.
Wow.
And you can see Frankie there.
There you go. I like it.
Literally a month after the building opened,
Wow.
there's Frankie on the
That's
on the main
awesome.
card of
Iconic.
UFC 78.
Opened it up. Opened the card. Yeah.
And GSP there against Dan Hardy.
Yeah. I was there for that. I was at all those actually.
John Jones becoming the
Is
youngest
that when he
UFC.
broke? That's when he broke his
UFC
toe, right?
the next
No, that
one
wasn't it?
against
Oh,
Chael
that's-
Sonnen
yes,
at 159.
yes,
At 128, he beats Shogun to
Which
become the youngest
believe it,
champion.
if Chael got out of that round,
Yep.
John Jones wins that fight.
Yeah.
If you-
no,
Chael
won.
becomes
I'm sorry,
champion.
Chael wins that fight because you have to stop the fight if
Yeah.
there's a bone.
I mean, his
sticking
toe
out.
was going in the
Yeah.
other direction. Yeah.
Wow.
He didn't even know. Rogan saw it. Remember?
Yeah.
The
He
post,
did-
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, "Oh my God, your toe!" And he looked down. He's like, and then he sat down on the stool.
Wow.
I was
That's
at.
cool.
I was at that
Yeah,
fight.
Sign that up for you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, I brought you.
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
Perfect.
Oh, good. But no, thank you so much for having
No,
me
yeah,
on
we're,
here.
I definitely appreciate our relationship. That was
Yeah.
I'm glad we met all
Yeah,
those
I
years
know,
back.
yeah.
And we stay in touch. And anything I can do
Absolutely.
to help out Jersey, is I'm only a call away.
Thank you, Frankie. Yeah, I'm a lifelong New Jersey resident. Happy to be working with a home game now after 25 years in New York. Now 4+ years working in New
good
Jersey.
to have
and
you
Newark.
for the home team now.
Absolutely.
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 So this has
Awesome.
been great. Best of luck. Before we go, I want to say kudos to you guys. You're going 5+ years. You're very consistent with your content, and it's great that you have such a great following. But I've been thinking about this a lot. I would say to you, if you had not one viewer, what you're doing for your kids. My father passed away in 1995. I was 24 years old. I would give anything to see a little video of him. I don't have any. I got a lot of memories.
Right.
Right now, all this content that you have that your kids someday can
Yeah,
look back
think about
on.
it like that,
What a gift
Yeah.
to your children, to your loved ones. That
Honestly, I never
know?
thought about it like that, but that's
Yeah.
a great way to put it. We always looked at it like, if we never made a dime from this, I mean, not that that's not something we would like to happen, but it's never really been the goal. It's our bro out session. I come down here, he's almost my therapist every week, you know what I mean? I tell him what's going on. He's like,
tough love.
tough enough, you know what I mean? It's our bro out session. So, I would
We get to speak to cool people,
Yeah.
I mean,
No, it's great.
people like yourself
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that have lived different than us, and we got on a movie.
Right, yeah, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
No, it's good. Keep it rolling, man. Keep pumping out.
if they turned the
content. It's
power
great.
off tomorrow, I'd still be sitting down here. So, yeah.
That's great, man.
Wait, you got to
Kudos.
sign our board too.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Dylan.
Let's do
All
it.
right.
Thank you so much
All
for
right,
having
guys.
me.
Pleasure to have you in,
Pleasure,
Dylan.
Roger.
All right.
Pleasure,
Boys,
Frankie.
same.
Champion trip out.
Let's go.
What's up, guys? Make sure you follow us on your favorite podcast platforms. You can find the links in the description below. And if you've enjoyed this episode, hit that like button and share it with a friend. Your support keeps us growing.